Right, hello and welcome to the Fabulous Food Finds tasting experience. You all have hopefully got a tasting box which is filled with 15, I think, products in this spring box. Thank you to everyone that's kind of held off and not opened their boxes yet. And I love that you've waited, so thank you very much. And no, I don't mind if you have opened them, because I don't think I'd be able to wait either. I'd be like, what's in there? But thank you. So if you're new to this, my name's Katie Truss, and I created this whole tasting box subscription basically because I've grown up in food. I grew up in pubs and restaurants and things, and I work in the food industry. So I most of my work is for the BBC Good Food Show, where I help them find really amazing artisan food and drink producers. And I started writing about them, I started judging, and basically trying to share as many of the finds that I come across as possible. And so the obvious way I came across to be able to do that was to stick them in a box and send them out to people and say, hey, these are the best things that I've been eating lately or discovering lately, and then sharing them with you. And I couldn't just send a box out, so also doing this video call so I can enthuse about them, so I can introduce you to some of the makers, and also created the Facebook Tasting Club, which I hope we can do a bit more with. And I because there was a few people that I don't know really what to do with some of the products in the boxes, and I was like, wow, that's where the Facebook group could come in, and we could all share our ideas. So I did this with it, did that, and depending on what kind of cooking you do, hopefully you'll come up with some inspiration and some ideas from it. But without further ado, I am going to introduce you to our first maker, who is Louisa's Honey, and they are here in the corner to tell us about two of our products. So if you could dig out the menu, it doesn't have it on first, but I thought we'd start with these. So you've got two little pots of I'm going to put them back up to the screen, and I'm going to ask you guys you're in the corner of my screen, if you could please tell us about Louisa's Honey, tell us about your story. That would be brilliant, and then we'll get on to tasting after we found out a bit about you.
Okay, hi there, my name's Simon from Louisa's Honey, and this is Peter.
Yeah.
Peter, would you like to share the story?
Yeah.
How we come about Louisa's Honey?
We love our food also, and we like to travel and try new destinations. We do a lot of road trips, car road trips, and always discovering new products and just throughout Italy and Spain and places. And we was down in Italy, and we went to buy some honey at just a little local honey factory, and directly, and then we stumbled upon this, and
we was in a little town called Stia in Tuscany, where me and Peter went in, done a bit of shopping, come across the honey company. On the way home, Peter's gone, hey, why don't we start selling honey in the UK? And I'm like, wow, okay, well, let's look into it. So because we wanted to know how good the product was, we started researching laboratories and testing facilities for honey, and we came across Intertech, a company called Intertech, one of the largest world-leading testing facilities, and we sent the honeys off and had them tested for pollen counts, total activities, all sorts of
hidden bacteria or anything that could be in honey.
And we come back with some amazing results. We then spoke to a honey consultant. He said to us, you're onto a very good product. We then launched Louisa's Honey at the International Food Exhibition at the London Excel, which went very, very well. And from then, we entered the Quality Food Awards 2022, which our Bosco won the Quality Food Awards. Well, it got commended, sorry, Quality Food Awards.
That's one we've got to try, isn't it, as well today?
Yeah. That was a big moment for us because we was up against some big people like Aldi and other supermarkets, and we beat all of those with that. So yeah, that was a real moving moment, wasn't it?
That gave us a big smile.
Yeah. So it was.
And I'm going to reverse a little bit. So you're not from the food industry, are you?
No,
we just enjoy.
Peter, we're just crazy about food.
Yeah.
We spend all our life talking and eating.
Yeah.
All about food.
Yeah.
Simon, you were a taxi driver, right? And
I'm
then
driver, no, I'm involved in the London taxi industry.
Oh, sorry.
I'm involved in the London taxi industry. We repair them, we rent them, we service them. Yeah, we run the maintenance contracts for them.
Ah, fair enough. Sorry, I knew it was something to do with taxis. And then Peter, it's golf.
Yeah, I was a golf professional for 25 years in Germany and Switzerland, and travelled.
Wow.
And now we're here. And my mum and dad actually Simon and Louisa's neighbours, so they got on really close. And my mum's middle name Louisa, and Louisa, Simon's wife's name. That's how we formed the company name.
Wow. Cool. So basically, you have some amazing honeys, and we talked about which ones we might try today. If you haven't read them already, then try not to, because we might do a little try and guess the flavour, but might be too late for that. And just so you know, you've got a little sample pots, because the big ones are large jars of honey, and because it's such premium honey, these retail at £16.95. Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm really sorry, but I couldn't afford to give you massive jars in your boxes. So you've got little tasters, but I thought that would be a really nice way of trying two different honeys. So where are we going to start, guys?
Well, I mean, has anyone had a little sample yet of what's in that fabulous box? No. Is it worth anyone having a sample and trying to tell us what it is, or have they read the label?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Before we give it away, now, do you guys know? Can you give us a quick kind of like, how are we supposed to taste honey? What's the best way of doing it?
Okay, so I'd like to say straight off of a metal spoon.
Okay.
That is it. Do not try honey off of a wooden spoon or a wooden spatula. Always use a metal spoon. You get more of a taste, a better feel on your tongue. Alternatively, we here have prepared. Do you want to bring that across, Peter?
Yeah.
We here have prepared. I won't tell you what honeys they are yet, but we here have prepared 2 small platters, pink grapefruit with one of our honeys, and a 24-month Parmesan with one of our honeys. So there's so many ways of enjoying honey.
Are we starting with the green one?
Yeah, we can do. We can start with the green one, yes.
I'm going to use my big jar. Sorry, guys, I don't mean to rub it in or anything. But, cool. Now, so I was actually with a professional honey sommelier once at the Great Taste Awards, and I wish for the life of me I could remember exactly how she told me how to taste honey, but she did tell me about putting it in your mouth and then holding your nose. Is that right?
Yeah.
You first get, the actual sort of like taste, flavor, sensations that your mouth delivers, so the sweetness and any bitterness.
Yes.
And then when you open your nostrils, and breathe, you'll get the smells that kind of complete the flavor profile. Yeah.
Yeah, possible. Yeah.
I'm gonna hold my go.
We want to see everyone trying.
I also say when tasting that the more you can kind of like block out of your other senses. So if you want to close your eyes to taste, it's not particularly noisy right now, so you don't need to block your ears or anything. But yeah, try holding your nose, tasting, and then when you let go of your nostrils, you'll really get the other flavor profiles in there. So it's anyone that didn't read the flavor, when I say flavor as well, something to note about honey is when they put a particular flavor in there, it's not that it's been added to it or anything like that. It's basically that the bees have foraged on those plants.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's completely natural, isn't it? There's no additives, anything like that.
Correct. It's totally pure and natural.
When we sent it to Germany for testing, they were so happy with the product that they said, "Can we keep it and not send it back?" And they keep our money for their own personal use.
Does anyone want to guess at that? Quite a tough one, I think.
Can I just interrupt Kate for a minute?
Yeah.
Guess that one correct, we'll gladly send a large jar of their choice free of charge. And we'll give you 3 attempts.
It's definitely not obvious. If you might be muted, guys, so if you want to say anything, just come off mute.
Oh, there. Yeah.
Anyone want to have a go?
I mean, I sort of accidentally cheated and
Yeah,
looked at it.
I read the label. I admit that.
Okay.
Sorry. At least we're honest.
He'd also looked at the label.
Yeah.
Is it what you expected?
And I would never have guessed.
No, it's not what I expected.
But you can hit herb.
No. It's tasty, but not what I expected.
Yeah.
Do you normally get people that say it tastes like coriander? Oh,
No, we've had so many people at tasting events, exhibitions, but when we say coriander, like, oh no, I hate coriander. We're like, please smell it first and then try it, and I guarantee it. Like 9 times out of 10, it works.
Yeah, this is the coriander flower, not the leaf, so it's got a different coriander smell and taste.
It's absolutely amazing on a bit of toast because of the crystallization, the grainy texture.
Texture's nice.
Yeah.
So which one out of your platters did you?
The pink grapefruit.
Ooh.
Very well.
I like grapefruit, which can't have
Because it is very sweet, isn't it? It's very sweet and creamy, kind of.
Yeah. So the pink grapefruit, it's there.
Now, Louisa's Honey have worked with loads of kind of like people from MasterChef and things like that to get them experimenting with your honeys, haven't you? So if you check out your Instagram, on your Instagram account, there's loads of kind of recipes and things like that. Really fun pairings.
Yeah, yeah, it goes in every direction.
Cool. Like that one. Does anyone not like the coriander honey?
No, I liked it. Yep, like it.
Wonderful.
Cool. Shall we move on to the other one? Now, this is actually, we can call it what it is, because actually it's not obvious anyway, unless you speak Italian, right?
Yeah.
It's like sugar. No.
Now, I chose this one as well. I knew I really wanted to use this one because it's such a contrast. So we're going to have a taste. Don't forget to hold your nose and then release it.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Yeah.
Completely different. Could be more different, really.
We're going to be a bit cheeky and have some parmesan with some Bosco.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for that suggestion. Now, why parmesan with that as well? Like,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, sorry.
So this
Put that cheese in your mouth and then tell us.
this honey's not got the sort of crunchiness of the coriander. So the parmesan, we've got a parmesan here that's 24 months old, and it's got a lovely crunchy taste to it. Again, that the the honey really offsets that. And this honey comes from northern Italy with the name Bosco. It's actually a honey that don't pollinate anything because they take the sap off the side of the trees. So there's a kind of aftertaste at the back of your throat, a little bit of a pine from the northern pine trees of Italy. And yeah, this is actually a really special. Yeah, I use it every day. Yeah.
Now I bought some malt extract a few weeks ago because I had a memory from my childhood. My mum used to give us teaspoons of this malt extract.
Yes.
And I don't really know why, but she was like, oh, just because it tastes really nice. So I was like, oh, I'll get some of that. And I really find this one had really similar sort of flavour notes. You say it's quite malty.
It's funny you say that, Katie. I've always called Bosco medicine.
Ah,
Always said it's medicine.
Yeah.
in a good way.
Yeah.
Holland. Yeah. Yeah.
And you recently got, so guys, if you ever get, is it Manuka, you say? Manuka honey?
Yes, Manuka honey.
And it's got the, you know, it's got like an antibacterial
It's got a UMF Unica factor code on it, which is a score, basically, which is the identical score to a TA, which is on the Bosco. You'll see on the Bosco it's 15 plus.
Yeah.
So, if you look at a TA score or a UMF score, they're all identical, 10 plus or 12 plus. And then if you translate that to MGO, those two scores, UMF or TA, will always transfer to the same MGO. And that's all about the antibacterial properties of total activity that's in that honey.
I just think it's amazing what honey can do. My dad came home from the hospital the other day saying they'd put it on he's got a poorly leg. And they're using it as like antibiotic, antibacterial, like, so.
Very good for wounds, very good for healing wounds.
Yeah, not that you're going to put this on a wound, but it's like, it's amazing for sorting anything out.
It's really good. It's very high in energy levels as well, the Bosco. We have quite a few athletes that order it from us.
Yeah.
I want to do a little vote. Who prefers the Bosco? And who prefers the coriander then? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
I'm slightly concerned that Tom's going to eat all of that Bosco tonight while we're sitting here because he keeps dipping back in.
Oh, bless.
Well, it's good for you, right? It's good sugar. Cool. Has anyone got any questions for Simon and Peter about the honeys? Or you got to unmute yourself. Sorry, I had to. Anyone wanted to say? No. We could always get you in the Facebook group as well if we did have any questions afterwards. Yeah, and so can you just tell us which other honeys you've got there? You've got a lovely lineup, but we can't read them all. So what have you got there?
We've got our first ever infused honey that we made, and we've got another one actually being prepared. If I can let that out.
Yeah, you can let it out of the bag.
If I can let that out of the bag. This is one that we did. This is acacia and ginger. It's a really lovely winter honey, what you can have in a glass of hot water in the morning for your throat, or just to give you a little bit of added protection in the winter. And we're working on at the moment cinnamon honey for next Christmas. So yeah, it's proven to be a challenge because we want the levels to be correct and not just passing, but we should have it on the market, correct, Simon, for next Christmas?
Hopefully, yeah. It's in the laboratories at the moment, so it's just a matter of time.
Yeah. So this is that's honey. That one there's it's acacia and ginger. Coriander you've tasted, and then we have citrus, which is from different citrus plants, and yeah, this is a really lovely sweet one. Goes great with some ice cream, and some people just take it again in hot water in the morning, and yeah, it's a bit of a thicker honey, isn't it? Yeah. So, and do you want to say the other?
It's set slightly, the citrus, like the coriander, but not as much. So you get that grainy crystallized effect with citrus. You've tried the Bosco. Now we've got the chestnut. I'm going to be honest, the chestnut is an acquired taste. At the beginning, I never liked it, truth be said. But now I love it. I have it pretty much every day or every other day. It is very nice. Goes really, really well with cheese. Really well.
Mm.
Then we've got lime, which doesn't set nowhere near as quick as citrus or coriander, but eventually it does. But it may be in a year's time or so. It takes a very long time. This is really nice. And I'll tell you what I do with this. There's this amazing gin here called Gin d'Azur. And what I do, I make a gin with citrus fruit and lime honey. And this is what I've got here. This is very nice. So a bit of lime honey in your gin. Wow, it goes a treat.
Oh, it looks perfect. Lovely.
And then we've got our traditional acacia honey, which I call candy floss. All children love this one. You can't go wrong. Very nice acacia honey. So yeah, it's really good. And now we've launched all the mini jars, which we've sent out to yourselves.
Nice to be able to try them all. Well, to try different ones.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone's at the BBC Good Food Show in June, please come and see us. You'll be sampling as much as you like. We're going to have some master chefs there doing some lovely little spreads. So come along and enjoy.
And some giveaways. So
Giveaways, yeah.
Please come and see.
Yeah, brilliant. And if anyone wanted to buy from you before the show, you sell from your website, don't you?
Yes. Please direct message us through social media or on the website. And if you put Katie Trust, his name, in the message or the email, we will give you a 20% discount.
Oh, that's very kind. Thank you.
It's just a little promotional. So
oh, thank you. That's very kind.
And a thank you on Katie.
Oh, thank you ever so much. That's been brilliant. It's so nice to meet you and introduce you to everyone. And cool. Thank you. We'll see you soon. See you at the show.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Lovely.
Thank you for taking the time. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. See ya. You stick around if you want. I'm sure you want to get going. Whatever you like. Cool. Oh, that was amazing. Again, if you want any more ideas for these, we'll have a look on social and share them in the Facebook group. Cool. So where to next? Da-da-da. So let's go to, we'll go in the order of the menu now. So the sun-dried tomato powder from Bowtree, which Sharon and Tom are really happy about because they tried to get some at the Good Food Show and they didn't have any, and I put them in the mystery tasting, and he didn't have any with him. So yes, I couldn't help but put this in because every time I get people to try it, they love it, and it's the thing that I've kind of like used in my house the most and used up. It's basically made from Turkish tomatoes that are dried in the sun, and it's basically a sun-dried tomato powder, so you can and no oil in it or anything like that. And if we open up your tin, if you can have a little sniff, not too hard, don't sniff too hard. I always accidentally do that. Snort some tomato powder. So it's not too sweet, but it's super tomatoey. So have a little, like either dab your finger or take some out on a spoon. And it's just like, so who's tried this before? I know. Okay, Sharon, and yeah, Leah. And this is basically, so anything that any tomato-based stews, just a bolognese, putting this into would make it amazing. Peter from Bowtree, the owner of Bowtree, said just like making a like to just slice tomatoes, if they haven't got a lot of flavour, if you just sprinkle that on, it really like brings out a really lovely tomato flavour. His little saying, I can't remember the beginning of it, but it was like all the flavour but without the leather. I never find sun-dried tomatoes that leathery, but that's probably because I've got them in like soft, nice, lovely soft oil. But he that was his little saying. And there's a BBC Good Food recipe that if you haven't tried it, it's basically the chicken arrabbiata stew with parmesan dumplings, and it asks for sun-dried tomato pesto. And if you didn't have that, well, you could basically use that instead. So yeah, I just think that's really lovely, and I want to find out what anyone does with this, if they do anything super duper with. Do we like this?
I think it's got like a meaty taste almost. It's deep, and you don't like tomatoes, do you? But
I like not actual tomatoes, but I really like.
You like tomato flavoured things, but not tomatoes. But you really like that, don't you?
Is it the texture you don't like?
Yeah. It's the it's when like you bite into it and then it all kind of. I just don't like the texture very much.
Yeah, there you go. That. So they well, yeah, in the tasting notes as well, it's umami, which is that, you know, the savoury, tangy, sweet, herbal. He says also puts it into pasta sauces, salads, cocktails, rubs and stews. I assume if you put it into like a Bloody Mary or something like that. And actually I think there's a recipe on the website that you just do a certain amount of water, and this it reconstitutes into just an instant like tomato sauce. So my dad as well goes to Slimming World, and he took this and told everyone about it, and everyone's like, oh my god, because it hasn't got any, you know, there's no fat or anything like that in it, so it's really good if you're on a low fat diet as well. Slimming World. Cool. So that's your Bowtree sun-dried tomato. Well done. Cool. So number 2. So these guys you might have seen in the supermarket, and I don't tend to include things, you know, that you can find on all the shelves, but I really wanted to include something that can be eaten straight away and really used as a little bit of a mix to the products. So the next one is the Esme Meze from Balazu. I don't actually know if you pronounce it Balazu or not, but that's how I say it. So we'll go with Balazu. So this apparently it's a Turkish meze. And when I picked this, it reminds me of my friend Lisa's up in the corner there. And at uni, when we just didn't really have many things like a meal to have, we'd have a meze and we'd just like get everything out, and it'd be, you know, we'll just have meze. So it reminded me of that. It's quite funny. So if you have it open up and have a little sniff. So this is apparently Esme means to mix in Turkish. So it's a mixture, and I actually found a recipe for it. So if you like the idea of this, you can make your own. So tomatoes, peppers, this has got pomegranate molasses as well. And you can literally, as if you do like an antipasti platter, just like pop that in. So using it as a dip, as a spread, you could put it on like bread to make like a bruschetta. But you've kind of got that tangy, sweet, a little bit sour with the pomegranate as well. What do we think of this one?
Delicious, that.
You like it?
Very nice.
I have to say, there's that much left in my jar, and I just had it at my desk, so I've just been kind of munching on it during the day. Like that one. And I just No, it's really, I think because it's got quite a lot of oil in there as well. It's really rich and kind of yeah.
It's not over sweet either.
And it's not over spicy.
Yeah, I know. I'm well, you've got one thing coming up that's a bit spicy a bit later, but I've learnt my lesson of not going for things that are too hot.
That's very nicely, but lovely balance on that. It's lovely.
What do we think? Thumbs up?
Nice
Anyone else? Tom, what's Tom saying?
Nice garlic bread.
Oh yeah.
It's got quite like a floral kind of tone, doesn't it?
Saying like Turkish delight, kind of hitting the throat.
Yeah.
You like that very
I
much,
really
don't
like it.
Yeah, you can find quite a lot of recipes to make your own. So it'd be good to, just as a part of a spread with breads and dips and crochets. It also says on the packet to add rich and tangy flavour to grains, dressings, or bread topped with feta. So yeah, just a nice little thing. Probably lots of add a lot of flavour to like work from home lunches. Yeah, like that one.
I've never seen these before.
Oh, good. Because I was a bit like, I saw them on my Tesco, like my Tesco shop. They were available in my Tesco shop. I was like, oh God, I just bought these, and they are supplying Tesco. So I was like, oh. But then I thought, actually, it's good if you can buy things, right?
I feel like I've got harissa paste or something from this company, maybe. As soon as I looked at it, it reminded me of a harissa that I've bought. So maybe
they also do preserved lemons. I think they're one of the companies that, like, only companies that kind of sell preserved lemons, or one of the original ones anyway. Yeah, and the next product is also from them as well, because when I buy these products, I sometimes have to get like there's a minimum order quantity. So if I do like 2 products from a place, it's because I've had to spend a certain amount of money. So the next one is a pesto, and I know this is a spring box, and sticking to a spring theme is quite hard because you've only really got Easter in the spring, and then it's kind of more like fresh produce and like things like wild garlic, that kind of thing. So this is pea and mint, which I'm afraid is pretty much the closest we're getting to like a spring vibe. I thought this would go really well with lamb, and they do actually suggest to kind of put it over on top of like grilled lamb. When you taste it, I'm going to not open this one because my one's in the fridge. But it is quite basil-y. I was quite surprised at how intense the basil flavour is. And then I tried to trick my partner into adding it to a bolognese because we didn't have enough basil. And I said, we'll taste it first because he doesn't like peas. And then straight away he was like, there's peas in that. So the pea obviously comes through. What do we think of this one?
Yeah, I really like that.
So obviously anything,
Very nice. That.
anything you do with like a pesto, so mix it into pasta, again, like spread onto bread. I had another really cool idea earlier, like I didn't write it down. But what else I'd do with it, like I guess stirring into like a soup, like if you had a tomato soup or something like that. And yeah, we'll share some ideas, do some experimenting. You like that one? Again, that's kind of almost like an instant meal. If you wanted to just mix it with pasta or mix into a dressing as well to make like a summer salad, add with some extra vinegar and some oil.
Would be lovely. A lettuce salad, that one. Greens.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Delish.
Or maybe just put it on some potatoes as well, some like warm new potatoes.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, so that's our Balazu or however you have asked the Italian experts. That's our 2 there. So get for those. Now, in a few minutes, we're going to be joined by another producer. So I need to keep a lookout for when she comes. Cool. So the next ones, now these, my dad absolutely loved these, and I haven't got any of my sample packet left. So we're going to go now to the Britzels, which is the big packet. And these are resealable as well. Actually, with the pesto and the mezza, you want to put that into the fridge. And it lasts a few weeks, but you want to put it in the fridge, and now you've opened it. So these Britzels are by a lady called Beth, who's American, and she moved over to England in like 2020. And I'm going to just let's see if I can get my packet, but I can remember the flavour. I've eaten loads of them. I don't always eat my supplies, but these are really, really addictive. They have got a little hint of chili in them, but hopefully you won't find it overwhelming. So these are crunchy American style pretzels, and actually the actual pretzel base is from America. She brings them over, and then they are coated in like a brown sugar, butter. I think there's garlic powder in there, cinnamon. I know Jason, do you not like cinnamon very much? I think it's Jason who doesn't like cinnamon, so I hope he likes these. And I just think these are really addictive. Do we like them?
It's like sugared peanuts.
I like them because they're not too sweet.
Nice and amazing.
They're
With
really,
the brown sugar or whatever it is.
with the what?
They like the sugar, whatever the sugar is on it. It's really nice.
Yeah. If you get a bit that's like got loads of coating on it. And she suggests dipping them into peanut butter, cream cheese. On the website, there's like a few suggestions, like there's a recipe for like a sweet potato dip, which has got like sugar and cinnamon in it as well, which sounds really, really good. Anyway, what was the other thing she said? Chocolate, dipping into melted chocolate. Which I can just imagine. Really, really good. And a honey mustard dip. She suggests it's perfect with a cocktail, after school treat. I just think any snacking opportunity, I would reach for these. Yeah, brown sugar, butter and spices, sweet, savoury and spicy, rich, decadent, and she suggests almost a smoky taste. If anyone gets sort of like a smokiness to them.
Oh, I could eat them all day.
Yeah.
Absolutely delicious. And I wouldn't dip them in anything.
No.
Just eat them from the bag.
They also do like a salted version as well, but I couldn't resist this cinnamon. I think once you've tried this kind of, it is almost like an American style flavour, isn't it?
Yeah, I like you get the bread crunch and then very nice that. I say I like the fact that it's like you're getting a breadstick, then you're getting all the other flavours to come afterwards.
Yeah. It makes me think of the pretzel flips that you get. You know, the chocolate coated little mini pretzels.
I've not had those.
You haven't had them. They're just they went off for a while. They're in a bright blue packet. I think they're like Nestle pretzel flips, but I can imagine those coated in chocolate. I think she maybe needs to, like these. So they're made in Oxford as well. But again, she's a small business pushing these out. I don't know if I've ever seen these in any shops, but I came across them and I was like, I think they look really good. And they're sourdough pretzels as well, so that's another little tip for me. But there's probably quite a lot more flavour within them.
I think it's just the right amount of salt coming through there as well. It just gives you a real lovely salty taste, as well as that little kick, just a little kick of cayenne at the end. I didn't particularly taste it while I was eating it, but now I can.
Yeah, it comes through just at the end, doesn't it?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Cool. So we've just been joined by Alison, who is from the Karma Tea Company. I'll let her put her video on, and I will introduce you. Cool. So that was thumbs up to the Britzels. I think the Britzel bit means British pretzels. Yeah, I like them. Like them a lot. Cool. So I'll wait until Alison comes in. We'll go to the next product. So the next one on the list are these honest bean roasted fava beans, and you might have tried these before. These guys are putting themselves out there a lot. These are a little sample so that you can just have a try. I buy them for my kids who love taking them to school because they aren't allowed crisps as their snacks. So these are a healthier snack. They're This is their barbecue flavour, and their fava beans are basically grown. They're grown in the UK. The company that make these are also the Yorkshire Rapeseed Oil Company. So they're farmers up in Yorkshire, and they probably near you actually. Lisa probably knows them, and actually Sharon and Tom, you're up near. You're in Malton now, is that right? Near Malton?
Not yet.
Ah, you're not gone.
We will be in the summer. We've had quite a lot of their oils before. They're so good.
So yeah, so they're farmers, so they wanted to do a bit more with what they do. So they roast the fava beans. These are the barbecue flavour. And have a try of these. They also do them in cider vinegar and sea salt. There's a normal salted one, and also like a chili and lemon. But they're vegan friendly. They've got loads of protein, and just, you know, plant-based cool snack that's not nuts as well. I think they do say that you have to be careful with, you know, that may contain, but nice to have like a non-nut, non-crisp snack alternative. They're really great on social media as well, so give them a follow. It's Daisy and Zoe. So Zoe's the brother of Adam, who owns the farm up there. And yeah, really like these. Nice British product. What do we think? Is anyone, it's a revelation for anyone?
We've had them at the Good Food Show before, but it was a blue packet. I couldn't remember the flavour, but I know it was blue. But they're nicer. I liked the other ones, but they're even nicer.
A bit more flavour.
Yeah.
Let's have like a glass of wine.
Lovely flavour, yeah. Another thing that you could just pick.
There's Alison.
Hi.
We've got two of you.
One second. Just need to.
Can't hear you. Why can't we hear you now? Can you unmute, Alison?
Oops. Okay. Hi everyone.
Hi. Right, so guys, this is Alison, who is from the Karma Tea Company. We've just tried some fava beans. So what I need you guys to do, we're going to try some tea now. So we might need a little quick interlude, which means you need to put your kettle on to do that. So go and put your kettle on.
Like a proper tasting. Great. I've got mine ready here.
Yay! Yeah, here is one I made earlier as well, which is going to be super brewed, but I can take it quite strong. So, guys, you need your kettle on, and you need this tea here. So, Alison, do you want to quickly tell us how we should, before we find out anything about it, if we're going off to the kitchen, how should we?
Yeah, so you wanna brew about a spoonful, two teaspoons full, or just a heaped teaspoon if you're making 1 cup, and then around just off the boil and leave it for 3 minutes.
I have my beautiful little parrot teapot that my sister found me.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, I always love the I really like a glass teacup and a teapot, but it's always nice to have a
It's nice to be able to see the leaves.
Yeah, so you can really see, you know, and here, for instance, you can really see what's happening with the leaves when it's, especially when you're brewing something like a specialty tea. And so it just helps, you know, also see what's going on if it's getting overbrewed. Yeah, and you can see the water change colour, so that's quite nice. Yeah, so yes, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, if we let anyone who's kind of going to go and make that, go do that, and I'll let you tell us a bit about you and your business while we, before we start.
I'm not sure how many people will be drinking. I mean, tea this late at night, because it is got some caffeine in, but I suppose if it's just for taking purposes, it should be fun. Keep us up for a little longer. So yeah, so I'm a fan of the Karma Tea Company. Karma Tea Company has been going now for will be 2 years this summer. So so the whole idea behind Karma Tea is to source single origin teas directly from the growers. And so and it's mostly focused from in South Asia, so working with tea gardens in India, Sri Lanka, Nepal. And I was sort of inspired to start because I felt that, I just got frustrated when it came to sort of looking or trying to find out where tea was from. Like any tea going to a supermarket or even can be quite high-end tea, it never says where it's actually from. I mean, it might say the country, but you're not going to know who produced it. And so I just started to dig a little deeper. Oh, this is interesting. Why is it that, we all know now where our chocolate comes from, where coffee, going to Starbucks, you're going to be given a coffee, you'll know where it's from, Rwanda or wherever, Costa Rica. But when it comes to tea, we still don't know where our tea comes from. So that was really the whole idea about it, was just to bring a little bit more connection between the source and the end users. So that's what it's all about. So yeah, and then the fun bit is getting to meet the growers and going off and tracking them down, hunting down the good ones, and just discovering that there's an amazing world of tea out there and bringing it back here for consumers. So yeah, that's the sort of the idea behind it. And yeah.
Cool. And just to highlight on the packets, we've got new and forgotten teas as well. So that's kind of things that we might not have found before because, people aren't, as you say, you don't go that specific with tea. And rare as well, things that maybe, aren't easy to grow maybe, and, things that aren't, you don't normally find. So that's you highlighting them, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so the new and forgotten bit is also because especially when it comes to South Asia, so India and Sri Lanka, that part of the world, we're really used to drinking a lot of very cheap tea from there. So a lot of tea will go into your supermarket tea bags, and it's associated with just a very like cheap, the dust, everyone talks about, oh, that's just the dust that you guys drink in the UK. That's when I went to to meet farmers in India. They're like, oh yeah, that's the dust, it doesn't cost, that's the cheapest kind of tea, and that's what we're used to drinking in our tea bags. And so not all tea bags obviously, but the vast majority. And so the whole idea behind New and Forgotten was like to really, like, I guess, try and bring a bit more respect to tea that has been lost, because especially when it comes to specialty tea, Japan and China get all the love, and they're like, okay, they're like way above on another level, and South Asia is kind of a bit like overlooked as just a cheap tea area. So the whole idea was about the forgotten teas, to draw attention to the teas that have been forgotten but that are amazing from that part of the world. So obviously like Darjeeling, I mean, Darjeeling is one of the best teas in the world, but then we've kind of forgotten a little bit about it. Or Assam, we're so used to calling it English breakfast and not actually Assam, because it's actually from Assam in India. So that was the whole idea behind the new and forgotten. And then there's also just a lot of a new generation of tea growers who are trying to create some really crafted artisanal teas, more specialty teas, and that's where the new comes from.
Cool. I saw a lovely post from yesterday for International Women's Day as well, that many of the growers that you support have put women at the front of their businesses, and it's
well, generally, I mean, tea, the vast majority, when you think, is a woman's job. I mean, tea, all like over 95% of workers are women, and a lot also, so it's just, that's also drawing attention to that as well. And it is a bit, they do all the hard work, and so they're a lot of respect for doing that. I've seen them as well. especially in the Himalayas, and they're sort of up and down slopes, very steep slopes with big bags of tea. And it's not easy. I couldn't, no way could I. Yeah, it's a tough job. It's a really tough job, and especially if you get like zero money at the end for it, that's even worse. So that's the whole idea, is also about, if we can grow some awareness or increase awareness around the better quality teas, then the farmers end up getting paid a bit more, and then they're more incentivized to make better teas. So it's kind of it's a whole trickle effect, really.
Cool. So what are we trying to say? Because we were deliberating, weren't we, over what we were going to put in the box, and the winter frost is the one we went with. So tell us why we've gone with the winter frost.
So this is really special tea. So there's nothing like it in the world. So it's called winter frost because it's made in the winter months, when there is some frost so this tea is actually made in the South Indian mountain region. And so when it's really cold, there's some frost on the lower elevations of the mountains, and that really stresses the tea plant, and it causes the tea plant, so the tea plant really struggles in that really cold environment, and so it really makes the plant create these really interesting flavor compounds. And so there's only a short window when you can make this tea. It's like 2 months, or it's a really short window, small window. So it's very unique. It's made in sort of small batches every year, so it's just really special. And it also depends on the weather, what's happening with the weather that year. And I was actually talking to the producer, because I was there in January, and everyone was waiting for the frost to happen. Has it happened? Has it not happened? And so everyone's on their toes around that time. And as soon as they hear about a frost, it's sort of all hands on deck and just trying to pick the leaves, and so it's the first harvest of the year normally in that part of the world. So so that's down in South India. So there's a little map on the back of the packet. So it's a place, it's called the Nilgiris, if anyone's heard of that. It's a really high elevation area, so about 2,000 meters above sea level, and it's so just to the east of Kerala, so along that it's in a region called Tamil Nadu. And Nilgiri means blue mountain, because the blue flowers, I forget the name, but anyway, they grow there, so it's known as the Blue Mountains. And so that's also why it's blue. The color blue. So it's so you can see in the leaf itself. I'll just get a little bit out, but it's so the dry leaf, there's it's not all black, it's a mix of black and green. And it's sort of been flaked off because of the cold weather, the leaf, so it's sort of a little bit flaky. There is a little bit of a myth around this tea, that I've read various things about it. I actually had to clarify with the producer of this one, but a lot of people think that it's called a frost tea because the actual tea plant has frost on the leaf, but that's not actually the case. It's because there's frost in the mountain on the lower elevation, so the actual tea plant isn't frosted over. And there is a bit of very romantic myth that goes around that as soon as the frost, as soon as it's a frosty night, all the pickers have to go out at midnight and start picking the frosty leaves. And for a long time, I thought that was the case as well. But everyone, oh my God, everyone's like, wake up now, go and pick, the frost is here, go and pick the leaves. But it's not actually like that. It's just it's a bit cold, and then they because normally in that part of the world, the climate is generally quite mild all year round. There's just a very sort of narrow, just a few weeks when it gets really cold, and that's when this tea is made. But Yeah, so no, it's not like that. It would be nice if it was, I guess. It would bring a bit more drama to it.
Oh, go. It's like when the morel and the morels, they have to pick them after lightning has struck, which is
right.
that's in the Himalayas. They have to, for the best, to get the most plump morels. They yeah, which I think that's a kind of similar thing, isn't it? But actually true.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Anyway, shall we have a taste?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Talk us through how best to taste tea. How, as a professional tea purchaser.
Yeah. So this is so you'll notice the color is a sort of an amber color. It's not your, it's a lighter in color than you would say when you brew a breakfast tea. And it's very, so it's, you wouldn't add milk to this tea. I mean, you could get away with it if you really want to, but you'd sort of miss out a little bit on the flavor if you were to add milk. I know a lot of people like to add milk to their tea, but for this one, you're probably better off not. Can be a bit strange at first, takes a little bit of getting used to. But just because it's quite light, it's very light and a floral and aromatic. Yeah, is anyone getting that? That floral. It's what are you guys tasting? Can you taste? It's quite stone fruit. A lot of people like this one because they can taste stone fruit. They can taste, it's floral, some mineral element to it. It's a bit grassy, little bit of citrus. So you've got all that going on in this tea. And it's a really, if you like Darjeeling tea, which is also very delicate and floral, this is a really good one because it's quite similar. It also depends how you brew it, but you have to be careful to brew it according to the the guidelines, steeping guidelines, so not too long because then it can get too bitter if you leave it for longer than 3 minutes. But otherwise it's just, I think this is a really nice one. Perhaps not first thing in the morning if you need something to like really wake you up, but it's really nice in the afternoon, after lunch, when you just don't want something so strong. And it's, yeah.
If you have a look inside the pack as well and have a sniff, it's quite, and if you take a look, you can see how big the leaves are, and the smell of it kind of comes through as well.
Yeah. And so what's really interesting about this tea as well is that it's made it's made by a small factory called the Tea Studio, and the Tea Studio was set up by someone, one of the veterans of the industry, and he just wanted to, he's a sort of an award-winning sort of tea maker, very well known, but he really wanted to bring to bring back the glory days, if you like, a little bit to tea from South India, because for a long time it's sort of been not a bit neglected, but I think growers there just got a little bit complacent maybe, and just were producing tea to sell very cheaply, and just and the problem with that is it's not sustainable, right? So if growers can only produce tea which don't earn very high prices, then it's that's not going to go anywhere. So anyway, so the whole idea behind the Tea Studio, so what they've done is they worked with tea makers in China and Japan, and they've brought all like these specialist equipment over, all the machinery, and so they're really focused on producing the really special tea. So it's not your so other teas, like I have a few here actually. So this one, they do very Chinese inspired green teas, white teas, not your sort of common everyday teas, but they're really focused on sort of the specialty, more artisanal teas. And what's nice as well is that I'm actually going there in in April, so I'm really excited.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah, it seems to attract. It's a bit of a magnet, this tea studio, but It's so famous because what they're doing is really, really, inspiring for a lot of people. And also they buy all their leaf from just small local farms. So it's just also the whole ethos behind it's really nice. Only women work at the factory, so they made a decision early on they're just going to employ women, so not just to pick the leaves but also to make the leaves, to do everything. And so yeah, it's just a very sort of inspiring operation, so it should be really interesting to go and see that.
Nice, yeah. So we can follow you on. We put some posts.
Yeah, please follow on Instagram. Yeah, follow along. So yes, and yeah, it's just interesting. Like, there's a lot of very interesting things happening in tea, and I think coffee gets a lot of attention, or chocolate, and now is tea's turn. So yeah, we can all help by drinking better tea. That's the idea.
Thank you for bringing it to us as well. Lovely, cool. Does anyone have any quick questions before we finish off with the tea? Otherwise, we're gonna count. Oh,
sorry. I was just gonna say that a long time ago I did drink a black tea from the supermarket. I don't drink that black anymore. I drink it with milk. But there's such an enormous difference in drinking this tea black than drinking a supermarket tea black. Just in the whole feel of it in your mouth, you can really get the flavors that you were talking about through that. Really.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's like comparing, it's like your coffee granules versus your coffee that you're going to pay £3 a cup for. It's that sort of, there's two very different products, right? So yeah, for sure. I think tea is so broad, and we all kind of like, when we think of tea, tea bag, but there's so much more out there. Not to say that tea bags are not, for certain times of the day, absolutely, they're great. But sometimes it's nice when you have a bit more time just to do something a bit, if you really want to, try something different, or really explore flavor or different. And then it's a bit of a rabbit hole. I'm just warning you, if you guys get into tea, and you're going to bore everyone in your life.
Lee, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was just going to say, Alison, do you have a favourite type of tea that you drink on a day-to-day? And then do you have any like specialties that you might save?
Yeah, no, absolutely. For me, in the morning, I need like a good strong black tea with milk. So breakfast tea, and Assam tea is really great for that. And so yeah, that gets me going. And then as the day goes on, after like 12, I just tend to switch over to either a lighter black tea like this in the afternoon, or there's other really lovely ones, like really special ones from other parts of India, like this one, for instance. Silk Cloud is from the northeast of India. It's made in a really small garden, and it's just a really special, like for a special occasion. Or Darjeeling is really lovely. So, for instance, on a Sunday or whatever, after around lunchtime, it's just nice to kind of bring a bit of ceremony. Like, it's a bit of a shame just to, okay, let's all have a tea. Let's just you want something a bit different, so it's really nice. And I've actually started getting my own family onto it, like my own mum, who's been drinking the same tea for like the past 50 years or whatever, and now she's like, oh, can we try, let's do, she's really developing a bit of a taste for it. So it's interesting to see.
Cool. You've got a really cool sounding chai as well.
Yeah, the chai. So chai, I developed that. Well, I took me a really, really long time to find a really good chai. Because I have traveled in India before, I just love the chai over there. It's super strong, goes really well with milk and sugar. And then when I came back here, I just I just felt the chai was a little bit weak. So then I eventually, after a long search, I found a chai from a garden in Assam, tea garden over there. And so it's made with black CTC. So CTC is the granules. that's what CTC refers to. So strong black tea, and then with crushed whole spices. So it's really strong, very authentic, and brews really well with milk and sugar. So it's really nice.
Cool. Do you know what? I realised we've got to wrap up because it's 8:10.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
I've got loads more products. Thank you so much. And if anyone has any more questions, we can put them into the Facebook group, and I'll get Alison to answer them and things like that. So cool. Thank you so much. It's been brilliant and lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Okay.
Thanks,
Bye.
Alison.
Bye.
Bye. Cool. Nice tea for you. When we were talking about it, I was like, I really want, it's really difficult to want something that will wow you, but also wanting something that's just like a really amazing quality and, you know, just a really great product. So I was torn between doing something like the chai, which might be a bit more exciting, but actually she convinced me in a good way that we'd go for this winter frost. So I hope you like it. Cool. So where are we going to go next? Let's go back to, we've done the honey. I'm going to skip the Cornish. We're going to go to the horseradish, which might be a bad idea. Actually, we'll skip the horseradish for now. I'm sorry, because I'm going to save that to last because I don't want to zap your taste buds. Because you'll be like, I can't taste the chocolate. And it'll be my fault. So we'll move on to the chocolate. So this is a really pretty packaging. This is the Chocolate Society. I'm not going to open this one because I opened that one and I ate it all. So I haven't got any left to taste with you. So the Chocolate Society I first met at this mystery chocolate tasting with Jennifer Earle. And actually I should have sent you a chocolate tasting wheel, but I think some of you might have that already, but if not, I'll send it in your next box. So they do some really interesting bonbons, which are, you know, like this. So this is a bar. They also do bonbons. They do things like quite posh Maltesers and things like that as well. So I chose the caramelized milk because the obvious choice would go for some kind of dark, but I've put dark in a box before, and I was just like, actually, I'm going to go for a really comforting, nice milk chocolate that's just really high quality. It's 39% cocoa, so I'll let you pop that into your mouth. And the ideal chocolate, so you put it in, try to resist biting into it, so let it melt on your tongue as long as you can. Kath, I just saw you stop doing it, and then you're like, oh. So yeah, so if you let that melt and try to resist biting it for as long as you can. So they say this is inspired by fond memories of steaming sticky toffee pudding and toffee apples, and they say it's addictive as it is refined. So I believe this is just kind of when you say caramelized milk, so it's like cooked, burnt off milk, and then with a milk chocolate. And I think that's just a really nice chocolate, which I hope you like too. I was going to go for something a little bit more wacky. They do things like a pretzel one, and I was like, well, I've already done the pretzel, so I won't go for that. So I'd give you a really nice milk chocolate, which is kind of worlds away from you, hopefully, your Cadbury's Dairy Milk. Although there is always this place for Cadbury's Dairy Milk, but no, I like this one. Do we like this? So if you like this chocolate,
yeah.
Chocolate Society, really lovely. Like they do really interesting things. They also do like a monthly subscription box with all sorts of really interesting chocolates. Do we get the caramelized kind of swathes of caramel, swathes of sumptuous caramel, they said through that. And that obviously hasn't got anything.
It tastes like, you know, like when you get to like a Malteser and one of the rare times you don't like crunch it, it tastes, you know, just as the chocolate's melted into the middle of the Malteser. That's the flavour I get.
Oh, yeah, it's a perfect way of describing it. Yum. Like it? Cool. Right, that's your milk chocolate. Go and enjoy that at another time. And I think the packaging is really gorgeous as well. So, right, so chocolate society. Then we've done Karma tea. Then we're going to go off to something a little bit less refined. So, Flower and White are a company that I've worked with since they began in about 2009, and they began their journey. It's called the Little Round Cake Company, and I met them at the Ludlow Food Festival, and they were just basically selling these little round cakes, and that was it, like their thing. And then they started doing these big meringues. I don't know if you remember them from the shows, but they still do some of the big ones. And then they got a bit more innovative, and they've started kind of working with like vegan alternatives and things. At one point, because they were making meringues, they were like, right, what do we do with the egg yolks? And they started making custard. So they just really, do you remember the custard? Yeah, they don't make that anymore. But so this is a real innovation, I believe. So this is a completely vegan meringue bar. So they do these, their thing at the moment is snacks that kind of, or treats that are quite low in calories, so they're not high in calories, and also trying to cater for, gluten-free, things like that. So this is your chocolate orange meringue bar and it's, they have grown quite a lot now. They're on QVC quite a lot, but Brian and Leanne are the founders, and it was a few years ago now that I was speaking to Brian, and he was telling me that they bought this Volvo, and they've grown their business organically, like it's their business. They've not kind of, there's no big investment from any other big companies. They've grown it completely from the ground up. And it was like, he just felt this real kind of like marker point in his business that they could afford to buy this Volvo for they've got like 4 kids or something like that as well. And it was really like, they kind of, felt they've really made it. And I just, they're always making their own products, putting their heart into it, and I think they're doing really well to make a vegan meringue. I mean, I can taste that it's not like a normal meringue. I don't know if anyone else has got kind of like there's a taste to it, but I think if I was a vegan and couldn't have egg white, then I'd be pretty happy with that. What do we think? Thumbs up to that one? Or yeah,
I like that. I think it's nice because it's not too hard.
Yeah, that's true, actually, isn't it?
It reminds me almost the texture of Milky Way. That soft filling that Milky Way has everywhere.
Strawberry
with a nice
as
orange
well.
flavour.
A bit mellow, sort of like, mellowy.
Yeah, the really strong orange, don't you? And then it's kind of like instantly dissolves, like almost instantly dissolves, doesn't it? As soon as it hits your tongue.
Yeah.
Really
nice. Ethical chocolate, gluten-free, as I said, natural flavors and colors. But yeah, they do lots of different flavors, and there's like a cream egg one as well with like a bit of fondant in there. So if you like that and you'd rather try their usual ones, they don't just do vegan. So they do like little bites. I had these little glitter balls one year as well, which were like little meringue pops. So they're kind of like just chocolate coated meringues and things. So if you don't know Flower and White, they're a pretty cool company to keep up with.
That's nice.
Cool. So that was your Flower and White. Now we've got another one which is a bit similar. So this is Squished, and these guys, I got an email from them last week, and it was basically just like as if I was a customer, and it said, we've made too many of these products, and if you want to buy like discounted ones, you can. And I said, hey, like why don't we put them in the box and see what people think? So we have got 2 products from Squished. So Squished, the whole idea about they were a fruit farm, and they were finding that the supermarkets just didn't want to buy anything that was kind of like not perfect. You know, you get your punnets that have got the big brown juicy blueberries or strawberries, and anything that's not quite perfect kind of goes to waste. And they had this big problem, you know, that this isn't right. So what can we do with this kind of like wasted fruit? So they have done, and that's why it's kind of said the rescued fruit balls. So you've got little fruit balls. I wasn't completely sure on the flavour of this, so I'm interested in what you think of the fruit balls. But I really like the little flapjacks. And they say, it's quite nice on here, it's rescued 25 blueberries. So you can feel pretty good about your sustainability credentials.
I like that.
I like that one.
Is that the ball or the flapjack?
The bowl.
Yeah, I've done the same as well. It's like a really like weirdly nice, intense flavour. And I've only eaten one of that, but it's really tasty.
I like that one.
I'm always an optimist with my children, trying to get them to eat kind of like new things. I'm like, oh, surely they'll like these. Surely they'll like these. And then I let them try them, and then I found like 2 little half-eaten balls, and they're like, no, don't like them. So sadly, they don't. But no added sugar. I don't know what else the base is on there. Vanilla, blueberry powder, agave syrup, dates, apricots. Nice little snack. As I said, I really like the flapjacks. But yeah, they I think they're based down in Sussex as well. But I'll put a link to all of the companies on the webpage. But yeah, just a nice little company. I don't know, has anyone ever seen these guys before? No. Good. Because that's a nice way of introducing them to more people.
There's just looking at like the things, and because I think I can really like taste like a vanilla kind of in the balls, and there's the natural vanilla flavour in it, and that comes through quite a lot.
Nice. Well done. I have to admit, I can taste Play-Doh a little bit with the balls. Anyone else get that?
I've never eaten Play-Doh.
Can't say I've eaten a lot of Play-Doh now.
It tastes like the smell of Play-Doh then. With the balls, but I do really like the flapjacks. Yeah, a little bit salty. I'm sure sea salt in there, which I really liked about those, because I tried these like last year as well, and I kind of forgot about them. But I remember thinking, I quite like the saltiness of those flapjacks.
I like the saltiness.
Yeah, cool. So that was squished. Ta-da! Then we're going to move on. You can eat this now if you want, or you can save it. So this is from the Thomas Cookie Company. And you don't have to eat it now if you don't want to, but this is a Lotus Biscoff cookie cup. So you've got cookie on the bottom, and then you've got some brownie, and then you've got Biscoff in there, and a bit of extra chocolate spread.
I think
you might need to chop it out. So Thomas Cookie, they've been at the Good Food. Oh, it's the Lotus Biscoff Brookie Cup. Sorry, I got that wrong. Cookie on the bottom, brownie on the top, Lotus Biscoff spread in the middle, and Lotus Biscoff on top.
Low in calories then? Not today.
We don't think about calories, do we? So these guys use organic butter, organic flour, like free range eggs, British butter, all the best ingredients they can. Really small little family business. So Thomas is their I was going to say the dad then, because they've got a couple of kids, and then his wife has recently moved from like a corporate job. She was working for Costa, and I'm pretty sure she just did like their creative, like how does a Costa cafe kind of look and how is that whole experience. But she's just had kids, so she's decided to kind of pull out of corporate life and is helping with them. So they're in a stage of their business that they're really trying to grow, trying to reach as many people as possible. But they do some really good products. This has, just in case you're critiquing it too much, so because they normally bake and send out the exact same day direct to producers, so when I got these I froze them so that they would get to you in the best possible, like be as fresh as possible. So if you don't be too critical, basically. So if you like it and you think, oh, there might be something, there shouldn't be anything wrong with it, obviously it's sealed up, but if you buy from them they're fresher and obviously even better. So what do we think of this?
We're serving ours.
Are you? Okay, cool. It's a shame I
We're going to have it with a nice coffee or something tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, chocolate before bed, probably not. And tea, caffeinated tea.
We're still enjoying the flapjack.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Cool. So yeah, so that's the Thomas Cookie Co. fully loaded. And I like they've kind of upped their branding as well. They're kind of at the stage in their business that they're kind of really pushing things. Cool. So that was Thomas Cookie Co. And then the things that we've got left are, we've got 3 products. So we've got the horseradish, we've got a chili sauce, and we've got a drink. So the guy from this company couldn't be on the call live, so I got him to record. I got him to go out into his orchard and record a little video, and he really didn't want to do it, bless him. So I'm going to share my screen, so excuse if I've got loads of tabs open. I didn't prepare for this before. A little insight into my crazy unorganized world. Hang on a sec. A window. We'll open a window. Hang on. Yeah. This one. Hang on. So let's go for this. So I'll introduce you to Seth. You can see the conversation about. Here we go.
Hello everyone, my name is
this?
Seth Pascoe and I am the founder of the Cornish SeaBerry Co. Unfortunately, I can't join you on the live event tonight, so Katie asked me just to come on and tell you a bit about what we're doing, basically. So this is our sea buck from the orchard. You can see it's a damp day here in Cornwall today. I apologise for looking a bit haggard. I've been up late. We're lambing at the moment, but more on that later. Yes, so one of the things in your lovely tasting box is vitamin C, which is our juice. I first came across sea buckthorn in the Himalayas. I was doing a trek out there to Everest Base Camp. Got altitude sickness pretty badly, and the Sherpas gave me some sea buckthorn juice, and lo and behold, it cured my altitude sickness. And then when I returned to Cornwall, I couldn't quite get it out my mind, so I established my own orchard. And now we are bringing sea buckthorn juice to the masses, or trying to. Our product is called Vitamin C. Sea buckthorn is a very tart juice, so on its own it's a bit too tart for most people's taste buds. So what we've done is blend it off with apple juice, and that just balances the acidity of the juice and carries it really nicely. So you get the zing of the sea berry, but the apple just sort of balances off the acidity. It's a really potent berry, so it's really high in vitamin C. It's also a really good plant source of omega oils. It's also got vitamin A in there, vitamin K. It's just a generally really good for you berry. And it's not really widely known, and we're trying to do our best to change that, really. So we established this orchard, and that's our head of motivation there, Dyson. We established this orchard in 2016. We're now on our sort of second or third big harvest. What else I could tell you? You can sort of keep tabs on our progress by following us on Twitter or Instagram. We're at Cornish SeaBerry, and our juice, which we hope you love, is available directly from our website, which is at www.cornishseaberry.co.uk. and or several stockists, mostly in the West Country at the moment, but we're working on that and trying to reach a larger audience. Okay, I just thought I'll show you these. We graze heritage breed sheep in our orchards to keep the grass down, and that saves us from burning expensive diesel and hours sat on the tractor mowing grass. And here we have the class of 2023. So in a few weeks' time, this little lot will be out there keeping the grass down for us and doing a lovely job at it too. Okay, folks, hope you enjoyed that brief guide to us. Any questions, by all means, do contact us. And yeah, thank you very much. Bye.
Oh, he's so cute. Yeah, I didn't realise that he was so busy lambing, and that's why he couldn't do it. He's like, I'm really scruffy. I was thinking, oh, he's just been out in the orchard with the SeaBerries. I don't really think they had animals to look after as well. And I was like, yeah, just go out there. And he's like, yeah. So, but it was really nice. I thought that was really lovely to be able to see the orchard. And I know sea buckthorn berries because here in North Norfolk, we have them growing on the cliff tops. So they're like literally as bright orange as these. And one year, me and my sister went out foraging for them, and they're the spikiest bushes. They're like horrific, like spiky, horrible bushes, and then these berries just burst as soon as you've almost touched them. So we had these like gloves on, and we were trying to kind of like drag these berries off these like spiky branches, and then they don't smell great either when they burst because they're so like hopefully you like the taste of this, but they don't smell great when you first pick them. But we made this lovely like a jelly, and like it's a really sherbety flavor, and I like it. Like I haven't had one for ages, but I don't know if anyone can remember those lollipops you get from Little Chef at the end, and they're like really sherbety kind of orangey flavor, and I think that almost tastes like that. So who's had a taste so far? What do we think of sea buckthorn?
It'd probably be really nice with some fizz.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Making it healthy. What do we think? I'm sorry that I can only send one. Bless him. I
wasn't expecting the colour.
It's an incredible colour,
yeah,
right?
Incredible, yeah.
It's quite quite passion fruity, like kind of. So.
Yeah, it's a weird, really unique flavour. We've got a restaurant near us that makes an amazing sea buckthorn posset. So it's mixed into like the kind of posset, the creaminess, and then it's got this gel on top. The colour is incredible. But yeah, the vitamin C, I think you get pretty much, what did they say, 75% of your vitamin C in there. And I don't know if you heard him, but he said he had altitude sickness, and that he was given it out in the Himalayas, and it cured it. So obviously I think they call it a superfood. And weirdly, so when I did that foraging and made this jelly, I wrote a blog on it. This was in like 2013, and it continues to be one of the posts that I get like thousands of views of this post of me making this jelly like years ago. I'm like, this kind of keeping my website alive. Just all these people coming for my recipe for sea buckthorn berry jelly. But yeah, and I really love their branding as well. I think they've done really well with that. So yeah, vitamin C. Cool. So that's that one. Now we're going to go on for things that are going to zap your taste buds. So I chose a horseradish for you. Give it a shake, because one of my friends saw it and she said, oh, is that split? It hasn't split. It's not a creamy horseradish. So it's quite a juicy kind of like, so you can see it, well, if you had shaken it, you can kind of see the strands of horseradish within there. I'll be completely honest, I don't personally like horseradish. I don't really like mustard either, but I can't let my own taste limitations stop me from introducing you to them. So this is not creamy horseradish. So you might be used to like a horseradish sauce that's kind of like a creamed one. So this is horseradish sauce with gin. 10 calories or less a spoonful. So that's kind of one of the big things about pocket pickles, is that kind of trying to use less sugar and make them a bit healthier. She suggests putting it in a Bloody Mary. Now I read up, so Lee, we talked about this book when we were at the Good Food Show, and so I was like, right, I don't really like horseradish very much, so I had a look at what you should do with horseradish and what you compare it with. If you don't have this book, it's really cool. It kind of matches up different flavors and things like that. So if I look at horseradish, it kind of, one of the things it suggests doing is putting it with a bit of mayo into a bacon sandwich. Apparently horseradish with bacon is a good combo.
Actually, it's not as bad as expected.
Is it not? No, too hot. Have we got a horseradish fanatic that's not finding this with enough oomph? Or how are we feeling about it?
I like it very much. I think that's really nice. It's not too hot, and it's got that sweetness with the mix. It's nice. Like that.
Cool.
I don't like it because I don't like gin either.
Ah, can you taste the gin?
I can because I don't like it.
Yeah.
That's lovely. I like that a lot.
It's funny, isn't it? Polarized tastes. But yeah, I'd love it. If anyone does try it in a bacon sandwich, let me know if it's good.
You won't have any left.
Not really.
I love it. I thought I didn't expect anyone to be munching that down as much as I kind of like munched on this. Go for it, Tanya. Cool. Right, I'm going to end on the hottest one.
Nice.
So this is pretty hot. I didn't think it was going to be that hot, and then I've tested it on a few people. They're like, whew. So it's got some heat, but not too much heat. It's from the Sauce Shop, which actually, this is another one. They've now got into quite a few supermarkets, which is a good thing because it's easier to buy. They're scaling up. When they first started, I had these bottles, and they literally had, like, it was actually the labels that you kind of print out. It was their very, very beginning of their journey when they only had like a few little sauces. This is well over 10 years ago, and they're Nottingham based. They are a lovely couple. They've got young kids as well, and they've basically built this sauce factory from the ground up, employing lots of people now. And they make brilliant sauces. So I chose the honey sriracha drizzle because I like sweet with heat, and it's basically like a sweet chili sauce. So only try a little bit, just as a warning. Be careful, Sue. I got you with the hot. I included some jalapenos, some red jalapenos, which were really, really too hot. So hot that I actually thought that I'd cut my throat because they were so hot. It's not that bad. So sriracha is basically a fermented chili sauce. So the ingredients they say here is honey, 35% honey, aged red jalapenos, sugar, garlic, white grape vinegar, and salt. So they say perfect to go on pizza, fried chicken, with prawn toast. So for Oriental thing, basically anything fried, they say to dip it in, and noodles. I tried it with some cheese earlier, which was really yummy. Anyone finding that too hot, or do we like this one? I know, Tanya, you can't take too much chili, can you?
It might too hot for me, that one.
Yeah.
But nice
Sorry.
taste. Very nice taste.
It has got a good taste to it, hasn't it? Like real sort of like deep chili flavour.
That'd be nice on gammon. Yep. Apart from being too hot, it's actually very nice indeed.
Maybe we could mix it with some ketchup.
Maybe we could.
With mayo. What did you say?
I said maybe we could mix it with some nice mayonnaise or something.
Yeah. Or yogurt or something like that, just to tone it down a little bit. It says on the front, perfect for fried chicken. But yeah, I like this one. And they do some really good cooking sauces as well. And I think they do really good offers on their website as well. So anything from these guys. They do a cherry bourbon barbecue sauce. That was the other one I was considering, but I thought this one. I went with this one in the end. It's quite hard sometimes to decide. Lured in by the honey. Cool. So do we like this one? Yes. Cool.
It's quite a lot on its own, but if it was on a burger or on, on something, I think it would be really good.
Yeah, it's really hard sometimes to try things like this without anything to kind of like offset it. And yeah, you wouldn't normally just eat chili sauce like that straight out of the bottle. I do normally at my desk, when I run out of the Esme Meze. Anyway, right. Has anyone got anything they want to say about any of those products? Do we got clear winner?
I think we just enjoyed all of them tonight. All been really, really good.
Good.
Love the pretzels.
Apart from that one. No, I like that one. Yeah, the pretzels were nice. The pretzels were lovely. Not at all. Very nice. Everything was very nice.
The pea and mint pesto. I'm excited to use that.
Ooh, yeah. Cool.
I think the tomato powder as well. Yeah, I think that would be nice on like a nice piece of fish, like just nice white fish.
Yeah, my dad. I feel bad for him because I was kind of ignoring him, but he was telling me that you could put it into like a little tea strainer or like a little sieve, and actually just put it onto a plate before making something, so you'd get the flavor through, like, or putting it into, I don't know. And I was like, yeah, Dad, whatever. But actually, when people put sauce onto plates, things like that, like you dress it up first, you could actually do that, or you could be really creative and, I don't know, use a stencil or something and have like a tomato shape on your plate or something. I'll tell my dad. I'll tell him that I've told him. But yeah, I'm interested in what you do with it.
My husband's just come in from the gym and you can see me like this because he's at my pretzels. Like, what are you doing?
Nice.
Nice.
But yeah, this, I do love these, and it makes me think of what could you kind of like, I don't know, that brown sugar, cinnamon sort of chili thing. Like, actually, what else could you coat? But yeah. Cool. Right. I am going to go and leave you. Thank you so much for joining the guided tasting and waiting as well if you did manage to wait. Again, please use the Facebook group. Like it's completely like private. There's no judging. It's not a competition to put like the best picture or anything, but it's really good to be able to share like ideas and inspiration and things with other people, like in actual real life kitchens and things like that. So and if you want to take a picture of your box, that would be amazing, and share it, or a video of you opening it, anything like that would be really cool. I need to spread the word further so I can send out more boxes. But thank you very much again, and any questions, just fire away, and you don't need to see it, but I'm going to do a little 20-minute kind of like quick fire one with talking through them. But what did you think of the guests tonight? Was that all good?
Yeah, interesting.
Nice to meet people. I
Yeah.
kind of think it's always, I don't know, like see Buckthorn man was like, oh, why would they want to see that? Or why would it, you know, if I'm too scruffy? I'm like, no, don't be silly. It's really nice to see like where products are made and like, and it's just real, isn't it? It's kind of just makes it, I don't know, it's not just a can, is it? It's like you've seen where they're grown. I think it's really nice to see that.
It's interesting.
Good. Cool. Right. Anyway, I'll keep rambling on if I don't just go. So thank you very much. And we'll see you in 3 months.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Oh, and just one more quick thing.
Oh.
So the tasting theatre tickets, if you're coming to the Good Food Show Summer, they're going on sale on the 1st of April. And I've got some really cool, exciting new content. So I'll send out an email near the time. And I'll probably send out the box after the show. It'll probably be a bit stressful to do that. So it'll be sort of like towards the end of June. Yeah. Cool. Right. Thanks, guys. Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks a lot. Bye, Simon in the corner. See ya. Thank you.
I just